A perfect 3-0 was not in the cards for the Devils at the Prospects Challenge. Still an exciting game to some extent. Nonetheless, Devils fall in the final game of the Prospects Challenge by a score of 6-4 to the Boston Bruins. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And appreciate those of you that are here. I expect super light attendance. It's an NFL Sunday, but if you are here, you are amongst the most hardcore of the hardcore. Not only did you most likely watch most of the Prospects Challenge game on an NFL Sunday, but you are here on a YouTube channel watching someone talk about it afterwards. And so I thank you. The most hardcore hockey fans, most hardcore Devils fans are you guys that are partaking in this right now. But what a game. Lots of goals, not a lot of great goaltending on display. Seamus Casey and Shane Lachance both sitting this one out. Lachance had a great showing in the first two games. He's going to be looking to make some noise in training camp and in the preseason, looking for some way to fight his way onto the big club roster for the season. Will be exciting to keep an eye on that. But we get to the goals here, and there was just millions of them. First period, Devils can't clear the zone. The puck gets to Minton in the circle, and he just rips it past Bennett to open up the scoring. 1-0 Bruins. About a minute or so later, Edwards gets the puck to Malofsky in the D zone, and Malofsky just goes flying up the ice. He streaks down the wing and just fires one in. An amazing solo effort there by Malofsky, and he's definitely got some promise as well with some other kids on this roster. But first period ends 1-1. We head to the second, and the Bruins take the lead again. Devils pinned in the D zone. They can't get it clear and beat from a shot at the point, which became kind of a theme of this game. Bruins take the 2-1 lead. 30 seconds or so later, Malone wins an ozone faceoff for the Devils, gets the puck to Vandalist, and he fires one from the point, tying it up at 2. And then about another minute later, Bruins working in the ozone. They get the puck to the point, and another deep shot in for the 3-2 lead. Bruins on the power play later in the second. Minton gets the puck down low to Loschmelis. I think that's how you say it, Loschmelis, and he finishes in tight, nice on the backhand. Bruins up 4-2, and at that point, you're like, all right, maybe this is not going to be a close game for the Devils for whatever reason. But Devils on their own power play a few minutes later. Malofsky again making noise. He feeds Squires for a great chance. Couple saves made in tight, and the puck just sits there. Malofsky gets there, and he buries it for his second of the game, cuts the Devils' deficit to 4-3. That is how we entered the third period, and in the third period, Devils on the power play. Nathan Lecomte, just in great position, fires a one-timer from the circle for his, I believe, fourth goal of the tournament and ties the game at 4. And at that point, you're like, all right, the Devils might pull this out. They were down 2. They came back to tie it. But then later in the period, Bruins go ahead. Edward comes from behind the net. He just kind of circles around and just fires one, snipes it into the corner. Great shot. Gives the Bruins the 5-4 lead. And then they would add one with the empty net and win the game 6-4. Not obviously a great goaltending showing from Bennett. He's only 19 years old. I thought he did show some signs of promise. He made some good saves at times, but he's only 19. He's far away from being an NHL hopeful, and he's got time to develop, but he's a giant. I think he's like 6'8". I did a little kind of spotlight video on him from development camp as well. Yeah, he's 6'8". And I think he has the potential to be good too, but 19 years old, yeah, you don't really know what you're going to get down the line, but hopefully he develops and becomes an NHL quality goalie in the pipeline for the Devils. I'll put the link in the chat. I just put the link if you want to see his like drills and stuff that I did video of at camp, development camp back in July. 2-1, 2 wins, 1 loss in the tournament. Not a horrible showing for the Devils, and there's a lot of bright spots and things to be excited about. Obviously, I forgot. How could I forget? Shout out to Cam Squires, the young Cam Squires, a guy that I told everyone to keep an eye on. I think he's a promising player. He's only 20. I think he's going to be a good one eventually. He dropped the mitts, third period, and we scored right after that, actually. It was right before the goal. He dropped the mitts and was just chucking bombs. Held his own. You don't really see that from a lot of skill guys, but you know I love to see it. Give me that intensity and that fire any day. Cam Squires goes to battle. And I think the dude he fought was also from the QMJHL, where Squires has played for the past few seasons. So I'm curious to know if there's a backstory there. I wonder if they had any kind of run-ins or any sort of history in juniors in the Q. I'd be curious because it seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere, but love to see that. We just look at the points here. Tag Bertuzzi, another guy, son of Todd Bertuzzi, former NHL veteran. You know, you guys know I love the NHL, kids of NHL players, the pedigree. There's just something about a lot of them. It doesn't always translate, but a lot of times you'll see, kids of former NHL players making an impact in one way or another. And I think, Bertuzzi, his father was a very tough and tumble kind of guy. For those that remember Todd Bertuzzi from his days in the NHL, mostly with the Canucks. I mean, him and Naslund were great together for years. But Tag Bertuzzi with 2 assists for 2 points. Malofsky, 2 goals, 2 points. Josh Philman with an assist. Cam Squires with an assist. Nathan Lecomte with another goal. Vandelis, that monster of a man on the blue line, gets another goal. And that will do it for the Devils' points in the game. Let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat here. John, in all seriousness, those prospects deserve a big round of applause. And I mean, every team's prospect, they earned it and deserved it, as this was a very entertaining prospects challenge. Yeah, I had fun watching the Devils. I didn't watch any of the other games, but I'm sure, the hardcore fans of each fan base, love this kind of stuff. Obviously, any sort of Devils hockey I could ingest, bring it straight to the veins. Prospects challenge, camps, whatever it is, I'm in. I love watching it, and I hope we see some of these kids in the not too distant future. I do think, Lenni Hameenaho is another one of those guys like Lachance that could potentially see time this year, if not right out of the gate to start the season. It could be later on in the year as a call-up. I think there's a couple of guys that kind of fit in that bucket, if you will. But great showing for the Devils. Lots to be excited about. And the guys that you expected to look good, in my opinion, pretty much did. I thought Edwards looked pretty good. Hameenaho was a little quieter than I would have liked him to be, but, maybe he's saving some of that mojo for the upcoming week. Malofsky looked great. Who am I forgetting here? Obviously, the chance. Pro Bowl forever. Hope to see some of these prospects get spots in the regular season. Well, with injuries, I think it's inevitable that you will see some. I don't know how many, but I do think you will see, at a minimum, at least Hameenaho or Lachance at some point. I do think they're going to be the first couple, amongst the first couple guys called up in the event of injury. And we're going to see. But maybe one of them sticks right out of camp. You never know. You never know. Bobby says, that's it. We lost today. Packing the season. When we suck. John, Squires showed he's got grit and doesn't like being pushed around. I mean, yeah, if you asked me who was, one of the least likely guys we would see drop the mitts, I mean, Squires was not on my list of guys to potentially fight in one of these games. I didn't see that coming. When I realized who, I was like, whoa, it was a little pleasant surprise. You love to see it. Ultimate competitor. Tasha says, Trenten Bennett, man, future of the Devils pipe for sure. I think he might be the next Brodeur Vezina season incoming. I think it's a little early for that. A tad too early for that, but hopefully he continues to develop. He's going to college this year, I believe, and maybe in years from now he'll be in the mix as part of that oh so bright future. And in net, I do like a lot of our young netminders. Malik, I think, has a lot of promise. I think Big Mike Yegorov is going to be a beast. John says, say what you want, but in my opinion, we got some weapons in the pipeline, and they'll only get better and better. Yeah, hopefully. It's been, I would say, for the past, I don't know, a little bit at least, that the depth, at least offensively, has not seemed to be there. Like we saw last year, we called up a handful of guys throughout the season. No one really played more than 1 or 2 games. And as a result, the bottom 6 was just kind of a mishmash of subpar non-NHL players or everyday NHL players, I would say. I mean, I hate to be harsh about it, but that's what happens when you don't have good depth at forward. You kind of just grasp at straws, and you saw, the Daniel Sprong, Cody Glass additions on deadline day. I think Glass has some potential, but like Daniel Sprong, to be on your playoff roster after clearing waivers, I think multiple times during the season, that's just an indictment on your depth drafting, whatever you want to call it. But hopefully some of these kids start developing. We have guys in the pipeline that are ready to step in when they need to be called upon, because last year the depth was just not there at all. And we saw what happened. We just had, a rotisserie of just subpar pieces in the bottom six, and you cannot be a competitive team if that's always the case. John, Squires and Lachance, when he fought, surprised me. I didn't see them as fighters, but boy, did they prove they have grit, physicality, and not be pushed around by anyone. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed Lachance didn't play. I wanted to see him again. But, it is, I guess they're just kind of saving some wear and tear miles on him, because he will be at camp on the ice, I think, I forget, is the 17th when they do all the nonsense, or on the ice? But either way, in the next few days, he'll be with the big team at training camp, and I'm very excited for that. Very exciting time of year. What are going to be the stories coming out of camp? Will we sign Luke Hughes before then? Today would have been a great day to get a Luke Hughes contract announcement, but it does not seem like that is going to be the case. And I really hope he doesn't miss time, or, miss. Man, missing all of camp would be wow. I hope that's not the case. But we shall see. That's another saga that's been going on for months as we head into camp. I'm working on a bunch of stuff. I got some videos going to be coming out in the next couple days as we get into camp and through camp. An exciting time of year, guys. Do you guys have anything else? I mean, there's not too much I could talk about this Prospects Challenge here. This might be a brief one. Could be pretty brief. Yeah, I wanted to see Lachance again. Casey, I understood. I mean, that was just kind of like a game to shake the cobwebs, if you will. Someone came to life. Yeah, I'm pumped for Lachance, guys. I really like Lachance a lot. Maybe the Luke Hughes contract will get announced on this live. No, I don't think so. I'm thinking this is like a next week situation, and hopefully it's before the, I think Mercer technically only missed like one day or something, but Maria was, Maria was good to see how they played without Lachance. Michael, this was great to see overall. I thought the prospects did extremely well. Well, the only thing I could say need improvements is that still no one who can win faceoffs. Do they even have that stat? I don't even know if that was that I don't think they tracked that for this. I mean, one of the Devils' goals came off a big faceoff win. I think it was Malone that won the faceoff. I agree, Tasha. And what I liked is that every time the opposing team scored, we answered right back 2 minutes later. And yeah, Tasha, I know he's great and a stand-up player, but it still shocked me a bit. Oh, you're talking about Lachance. Lachance is the man. Yeah, Devils with a lot of, they were down, 1-0 and tied it. They were down 2-1 and tied it at 2. Then they were down 3-2 and 4-2, and then tied it up at 4. Yeah, constantly came back, never packed it in, never rolled over and died. But in the end, just not enough for the Bruins today. Ability to answer back was something I wasn't used to watching the usual Devils squad play. John, am I in the wrong if I say I feel like our prospects played somewhat better than our actual team passing-wise? Well, I mean, again, it's prospects versus prospects. A lot of sloppy play, I feel like, especially in today's game. Just not the cleanest game, but at times, yeah, the passing was impressive, but the big club does that too. Michael says Mercer was signed the night before camp, but he took the next day. Oh, okay. Steven. What's up, Steven? So somebody on the HF message boards, oh God, has an inside guy in the Devils. His screen name is Devil's Trap. He has said a few things in the past, and they all happened. He said Luke is getting 8 years, $9 million. Would love to see it. And that's pretty much in line with what I had hoped for a couple months now here. I've been talking about it. I said, 8 years. Obviously, I would have been a little happier to get it closer to 8, but I said even 8 years at $9 million, even 9.5 is a good deal for the Devils. Obviously, the lower the better, right? Leave some of that meat on the bone, leave some money for Fitz to improve the roster otherwise. But 8 years at $9 million, I think, is a very good deal for Luke, and I think it's a very good deal for the Devils. Just a matter of announcing it. Well, I mean, but what is the holdup to announce it? I hope that's right, Steven. I hope that guy is accurate, and we see that announced. I'd be thrilled with that deal. Khalil, only if the Devils can come back like this, like the Prospects. Yeah. True, there's some sloppy plays that always made up for it somehow, some way, and I give them credit for it. Yeah, it was a good game. Good game and good tournament for the baby Devils. Tasha, but see, Fitz would have to move cap before Luke were to get signed to $9 million. That's not true, Tasha. He does not. We do not have to be cap compliant until the start of the season. But it seems inevitable that Kovacevic is going to go on LTIR. So that's an easy fix, at least for now. They would have to figure out who's getting traded or what they're going to do to free up the money when Kovacevic comes off of LTIR. But it seems like the easy fix is going to be putting Kovacevic on LTIR to be cap compliant to fit Luke. Yeah, 8x9 is a pretty good deal. Steven said in Devil's Trap said they haven't announced it yet because Fitz wants to make the cap room for it. I mean, is he trying to do that? I guess he's trying to avoid putting Kovacevic on LTIR. But the other thing is people have talked about this too, and I thought it was just kind of silly to me, is that for months people have been like, the Devils don't want to sign Luke now because then everyone will know, they'll lose leverage in a trade because everyone will know they have to clear space. It's like everyone knows that anyway. Regardless of the deal being announced, anyone with half a brain, especially other teams' GMs, realize like, okay, you have $6 million in cap space. You're probably going to sign Luke to somewhere between 8 and 10 million. Therefore, you're going to need to create cap space somehow, some way. Like, it's not this secretive thing that people are making it out to be. So I do think that it's funny that like this is supposed to be like a tactic, like this is a tactical move to not announce it because then everyone will know we need to clear cap. Like they already know that anyway. Someone's spamming the chat. Let's just take care of that. See you later. Husky, Curtis Muskomack Squires. Drop in the mitts, baby. Tasha, we all know Fitz is allergic to trading during the regular season with the exception of the deadline. Hopefully that's not the case this year, and hopefully there's some meaningful moves made. But, they are going to be pretty tight up against the cap, barring some monumental moves of sorts. And so any in-season trades or trade deadline moves are going to have to require shipping out more salary somehow. Robbie's bench toss. Can't wait to watch neurotic Nucks fans melt down once the long-term Luke deal gets finalized. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the Canucks fans have just entered a world of delusion where somehow they end up with all the Hughes brothers, and they're like, that was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. We have Jack here for 5 more years. Hopefully this Luke long-term extension is real and gets announced, and then that's it. That's the biggest kind of piece we were waiting on, and then it's like, okay, they're not going to Vancouver now, obviously. So the only way they're all playing together is for Quinn to come here. And it's only a matter of time, whether that's a trade beforehand or whatever. July 1, 2027, he has been he'll be a free agent and free to sign here. Steven says, look, Ace, I'm just saying what this guy said. Like I said, he's been right with everything he said in the past. Oh, no, I completely I believe you that if you followed this guy and you said his kind of things have come true, I believe it. I'm just saying the whole notion of not announcing it because they want to clear the space and not lose leverage in a deal, I just think is silly because it's common knowledge to everyone. John, I hate to say it, but don't believe everything you see on the internet. You never know if it's BS or not, if you're being lied to. No, I mean, as Steven said, this guy's made some calls before. I certainly believe that he could have some intel. And that hopefully, yeah, the 8-year, $9 million a year is reality. I would like that. Tasha, I saw a picture of Bratton Hall and Palat on vacation or something, and I was genuinely confused why I didn't call Palat his ex-teammate because I generally forgot he was still on the team. Tasha, I'm not sure why they're putting off trading him since they clearly believe Gritsuk will be the guy to play with Jack and Bratter. Maybe. I mean, it'd be great if he could fill in there and produce at a top line level. I think that's a lot of expectations. I do think Gritsuk has promise. I would love to see it. I just don't know that, for a guy that's never played in the NHL, you're a younger guy. He's not super. I think he's a little bit older for a rookie. He might be like 24, 25. How old is he? But to expect him to come in and just, he's 24, to just go in on the top line with those guys and look like he belongs, I think is asking a lot. It would be phenomenal if it happened, and I'm rooting for it. I think worst case scenario, he's a good bottom six player. But if he could play with Jack and Bratter, that'd be great. But I do think it probably was not an easy situation for Fitz to be able to move Palat, and I think there's a good chance he's here for the season. Robbie, hopefully we see Jack playing at 100% capacity in camp. Very curious to see how he looks. He should be. He should be. Hold on 1 second. Oh, my fantasy team's doing all right today. Got to keep an eye on the fantasy. Oh, man. But yeah, Jack, a healthy Jack, I think is a 100-point guy. I mean, if he plays 75 games, he should get you 100 points at a minimum with an upside of maybe way more. Stay healthy, Jack. It'd be a great thing for the Devils to have him on the ice for as many games as possible. Tasha, he looks a little bigger than last season, but not anything crazy. I don't know if he looks like that to me, but just stay healthy and go out there and produce. Benjamin, Devils rule Rangers suck. John, Gritsuk, Bratt, Jack line would be a line of nightmare fuel thinking about it, but chances are he'll work his way up to the first. I think there's going to be a lot of guys that get the look there. There's going to be a lot of guys that get an audition. Who sticks? Who sticks? Or is it a constant rotisserie? Or is everyone just, kidding themselves and it's going to be another year of Palat and we're all just kind of looking for hopeful scenarios to where that's not the case? Because I think that is a decent chance of that, rather, that you will see Palat there. People were just assuming he was going to be off the team this summer. That did not happen. And now I think likewise with where he's going to slot in the lineup, people are like, oh, he's going to play. He might be on the top line, guys. But listen, I do like Palat. Obviously, I'd rather him be playing in the bottom six, and I'd rather him not be making $6 million. But I do like Palat. I'm not on this train with the tons of people that are just like spitting venom because the guy's overpaid. I mean, listen, a lot of you watching this right now are probably overpaid for your jobs. And many people in the world. Like, what are you going to do? 1 week from today, back at the Rock, Devils Rangers preseason. Oh man, I'm pumped for that. It's always an exciting feeling walking into the arena for the first time especially after a long summer. That's crazy. It was like 5 months. What a time. What a time. Angus Crookshank is higher on the depth of the chart than Grits. You guys, Crookshank. I don't know. If he's on the NHL team, I think something has gone awry for sure. Anyone got anything else? I'm getting kind of antsy. Gonna watch a little football today. Not a huge football guy, but casual Giants fan. And they're in one with Dallas right now. My fantasy team's in one too. John, it's going to feel great to walk into the Rock again. It feels like home during the winter months. Yeah, it certainly does. And I always I like going to games in the warm weather because it's not very, maybe obviously the preseason most of the time is pretty nice weather. And then sometimes, through October or mid-October, late October, whatever. And then it starts to get cold and it sucks in the winter and all that. And then it comes back again for the playoffs. I've talked about that. The playoff weather, nothing like going to a hockey game in the good weather. So I do like walking, around the arena and doing whatever outside before the games in the preseason. Tasha, just walking into the arena point blank, man, such an exciting feeling. There's nothing like walking to the Rockford game surrounded by Devils fans. No feeling like it, especially after a win. Yeah. The preseason, I'm very pumped for the preseason. A lot of guys looking to make their mark. I hope Lachance plays in all of them. I think he's going to play in a lot of them. I think the same with Hameenaho. I'm curious to see what other kids that we saw in this prospect challenge get a look in the preseason. I'd like to see Malofsky. Squires probably will get a couple games. Edwards probably the same. Yeah, it's interesting just to keep an eye on, who's almost ready, who will be waiting in the wings in Utica. Benjamin, Paulette was to, I don't know what this is. Paulette was to couple of categories. We need a lot. Tasha, do you think I should get tickets to a preseason game, or is it kind of a waste? I'm debating it. No, it's never a waste. And you can get tickets for cheap. You get tickets for super cheap for preseason games. And for people who may not be able to afford to go to a ton of games, obviously it's not that you're not going to see the same players and it's not the same experience and whatever else. But especially if you have young kids that are into it and you don't want to pay the exorbitant fees that many of the games cost, you could go to preseason games for super cheap. And so I couldn't suggest it enough. If you're kind of on the fence about it or whatever, buy tickets for some preseason game or two. They're super cheap. Like I said, for a lot of younger kids, they don't know the difference. But I personally always liked preseason just to see the young kids that you may not see during the regular season. It's just kind of an extended version for some guys of like this prospects challenge, but at a higher level. So I've always liked preseason for that. And like I said, super cheap. Lacombe, what a tournament for him. Scored again today, 4 goals. Quite a showing. Quite a showing for that young man. Let me see something. He's only 18. Turns 19 in January. John, I would try to get a game to the 1:00 Devils Rangers preseason game. It's a preseason game, but it's the Rangers. Oh, yeah. I would love to see some tilts in that one, too. Let's see some fisticuffs. I would love to see some Devils Rangers preseason fisticuffs. I'm curious about the goalies as well. I know Malik definitely will start a game or two. Markey and Allen will probably play one or at least a couple periods of one. Yeah, maybe Jeremy Brodeur gets one. Maybe Tyler Brennan gets one. Yeah, then they have that weird. There's a night. I don't know what is the date where they have a split squad where they're playing two. They're doing 2 preseason games on the same night. I don't know how I feel about that. Personally, I don't think I like it. But yeah, 3:00 on the 28th, 2 weeks from today, half of the team is going to be playing Washington at home, and then half is on the road at Ottawa. Super strange. I don't know what the benefit of that is. But that is an interesting phenomenon for sure, because there's going to have to be obviously twice as many players available. So you're going to probably see on that night a lot of guys maybe get a chance. And maybe for some guys, their one and only game as a result of the split squad. Little split squad, two preseason games going on at the same time. Tasha said, wouldn't be shocked if they just pop Big Mac in the Devils Rangers game. Oh, no complaints from me. Yeah, John, the Ottawa game is in Quebec. And those poor fans that lost the Nordiques, they've been desperately wanting a hockey team back forever. And I don't know how likely it is or when. But hopefully for the good folks of Quebec, one day they get a team. Devils 25 Ace, what's up? The Devils Rangers late season matchup schedule this year. What was the NHL thinking? Your guess is as good as mine. The first game, I think, is March 7th. I complained last year when the first Devils Rangers matchup was in December. And now we wait till March. I mean, that is, to me, that's just psychotic. I remember when I was a kid, it was in some seasons 6, I think in some seasons maybe even 7 matchups between the Devils and Rangers, and they were fast. They came early and often. It was like bang. We were playing when rivalries were great, super heated rivalries. The intensity ratcheted up when you play them so many times a year, and it's like we don't play them till March, and then we play them twice more before the end of the season. I don't like it at all. I'm sure it's all TV ratings, and there's obviously much more interest in hockey later in the season, approaching the playoffs, than there is early in the season. But I think it might be a case of like analysis paralysis kind of thing. Like just kind of spread them out evenly. We don't want to wait till March to see it. It is pretty wild. What's going on, Bobby? Robert, old man Rob here. Let's go. Took a South Jersey trip and found a great studio wall gift for you at Smithville. Oh, nice. Where is Smithville? I don't even know where that is. Where is Smithville? Is that like super far south? I have to look it up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's out there. John, what sucks is we only put them one time at the Rock and then 2 more times at the Garden. Who's making the schedule? Yeah, I mean, if there's only 3 matchups, someone's going to get 2 home games and someone's going to get 1. We got the short end of the stick this time around. It does seem crazy. 1 Devils-Rangers, 1 home game against the Rangers. Tasha, I think you jinxed today. Is complaining about December sounds crazy. Now it seems like the NHL is more intent on marketing Canes versus us. Maybe. Bobby, what'd you think of the game? I can only watch bits and pieces. It was an okay game. I mean, kind of sloppy. Bennett wasn't super sharp in net, but he's only 19. He's got a ways to go. I think he could be a good goalie one day, but he's giant, 6'8". Love to see that. But yeah, it was another Prospects game. Cam Squires fought. That was awesome. Dropped the mitts. Edwards looked good again, I think. Yeah, Edwards, I think, is a sneaky guy where, in terms of defensemen, like he might, and who knows, maybe he ends up being the odd man out. But with the logjam at D, it just seems like a guy like Edwards or Seamus Casey, and have to put Nemitz in the group as well. Hopefully not him. I think has the most potential of all of them. But with all these young defensemen, it seems like the logical thing to do would be to trade one of them, whether that's Casey, Edwards, Nemitz, and I hope not Nemitz. I wouldn't want to lose any of those guys. But in the end, you can't keep everybody. And when you need forward help and you have tons of defensemen, it's the logical move. John, it was interesting. Some of the prospects showed they have what it takes to try and play with the big boys. Gem Card, what's up, Ace? I'm excited to finally be back. Hope you had a good summer. It's cup season for NJD. What's going on, Gem Card? I had an okay summer. Highs and lows. But I am pumped for the season to be back. I am super pumped for the preseason. And hopefully, I mean, if somehow this team won the cup, guys, oh my God. I haven't even thought like in advance how that would like impact my life, at least for the few months following. Because that would be a tremendous summer if the Devils were ever able to do it. And I told you guys, I'm not greedy. I just want to see one more before I croak. Give me one more. I just want one more before it's all over. Crazy to think that I'm saying that at 40 years old. When I was younger, I would have thought, if they were like, when I was 18, how many more cups will you see the Devils win? I probably would have said 3 or 4. Traveling weird how the NHL doesn't push the Devils versus Rags rivalry for nationally viewed games. I'm kind of surprised too. Back in the day, they did, I believe. But maybe it's just, I don't know. I mean, the Devils are kind of a national darling. They got the most allowed games on national TV. I forget, is it 13 or whatever? And so they'd like to give them the attention, but in terms of the Rangers, for whatever reason, it's just not, I guess, appealing to them. I really don't know why. John, the Edwards guy seems dangerous. So did the Diot guy. They both look like they could be weapons in the future, possibly. Yeah, shout out to Diot. He had a big showing too. Tasha, hopefully some of them get traded too, because we have so many talented D and they really don't have an easy route to the NHL and NJ. With the team we have, you'll see 5 more before you turn 50. Oh, Bobby with the optimism. It'd be great just to see one. Obviously, I'd like to see way more than that, but this core has to win one. I guess so. Maybe it'd be nice to see two in my life. One, at least one from the Hughes, Heischer, Bratter, Timo core, and then another one at some point with a different core of guys that may not even been born yet. Gem Card, if you had to predict, what player do you think has the best season for the Devils this season? Are you talking about most points? If you're going to go most points, I'm going to have to probably go with Bratter. If that's what you mean by best season. Ryder, I really want to see Grits play with Jack and Brad in preseason. I'll be paying very close attention if they get on the ice together. If I'm not mistaken, last year I feel like we didn't play a lot of the a lot of the vets, I think, didn't really play much in the preseason. And so it will be interesting to see where, I guess, even in training camp, right, where they slot Grits. Do they put him with Jack and Brat in camp before the preseason to see if there's something there to then try it out in the preseason, or who knows? I don't know how many games Jack or Brat will play in the preseason, but I certainly would like to see it in the real test, right? Give them the real test in the preseason. And I think he's going to get his chance at some point. It seems inevitable, but I would love to see that, Ryder. Michael, McLeod and the rest have been eligible for reinstatement. Unfortunately, he will end up helping some other team. He might end up in another league. There's no guarantee he's going to get an NHL deal. I do think Hart will get a deal because he's a goalie, and that's a more coveted position, and there's a shortage of them. McLeod will be an interesting one to see. Faye, I just want to see 1-2 before this core and players, Jack, Nico, Brat, all end up leaving us. Jungle Static, if Grits was a fixture with Jack and Brat, then the trade deadline pickup of a great left wing with Nico and Timo, huge top six, then get a real 3C, trade Mercer with pickups, and Cotterglass Nason could be a cup team. I mean, I don't want to sell dreams. But they could be a cup team with minimal improvements. But it takes a lot of things going right. Markey and Allen being solid. The defense, I mean, I'm not worried about the defense. I think the defense is going to be good no matter what. But essentially, it's predicated on staying healthy, the bottom six waking up from the disaster that was last year, and so on and so forth. And so I do think with some big additions, like you mentioned, they definitely could be a cup team, but there is a way that they could be without it. Again, it takes a lot of things to go right and a lot of luck and blah, blah, blah. But when you start talking about getting another top six player and then possibly a third line center, I mean, yeah, then this team on paper, you'd have to say is a legitimate cup contender. Michael says Jack played with Holtz all preseason. That turned out. Devils 25 Ace. You ever think about doing Locked On Devils now that trade left? What do you mean doing it? I don't know what you mean by that, Devils. Like, I don't know what that means. I'm confused. Bobby, Brat with more points than Jack. I love the confidence in Bratter. Well, I think Bratter is going to probably play more games. I think he's going to probably play more games. And that's why I think, while if they play the equal amount of games, I would pick Jack to have more points. He's the slightly more dynamic offensive player. But I do think Brat will probably play more games. And so if I had to pick, I'm going to go with Bratter. But Jack, hopefully one of these years explodes for like 120. It's going to require him being healthy. John Fay, also, I just looked at Heischer's status. They have him at 200 pounds. I don't remember him being 200 pounds. Yeah, they talked about that he beefed up in the offseason. And he looks bigger in some of the things that have come out. Hopefully that translates on the ice and we see a slightly more durable and a slightly nastier Nico Hischier this year. Ryder, already saw an article with Kaprizov going to the Devils. Brace yourself for that nonsense. Oh, it's a joke. I've seen some of these clickbait things too. Someone asked about it the other day. It's just so ridiculous. There's zero chance of the Devils getting him. Bobby, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, Markey will hit 40 wins. I can feel it. Oh, Bobby Brightside. 40 wins, man. Come on. I would love to see it, but they're going to try to probably keep him at like 55 starts max, I'd imagine, somewhere around that number. So you're talking about for him to get 40 wins, he basically would have to go 40-15. Like when Marty was getting 40 wins, some of those seasons he was playing 70, 72. He was getting, 40 wins, 42 wins, 43 wins. But to do it in today's NHL with the amount of starts they let these guys have, 40 wins is a tremendous feat. I would love to see it. I just fear that that's a little bit unrealistic given how many starts he's going to get. Traveling 20 years down the road, I better not be reading a list of players with Nico and Bratton of players that should have won the cup but didn't. Oh, man. No one wants to be on that list, Traveling. No one wants to be on that list. I'm glad you showed up on this channel, Bobby Brightsides. Tasha, honestly like to see one Eastern Conference visit. No cups in my lifetime. Oof. Hopefully this is the year they make it to the conference finals. I've said that for a while. I would love to see it. I think that's a step in the right direction. Jungle Static, true, but they'll most likely need huge additions. Trade deadline should be big every year over year. Maybe they could win without moves. At realistic, make moves, sell that future for now. Well, absolutely. You know that's my motto. Win now. Trade first rounders, trade extra pieces, prospects, whatever it is. If it pushes you closer to a cup, do it. And that's what winning teams do. Trade futures for win now pieces. I'm all on board with that. Michael has Locked On as a series podcast. Each team has one, but it's every day. I know what it is. And I like Trey. I've had Trey on here multiple times. I talked to Trey. But I don't know. Did you mean? Oh, do you mean like host the show? Is that what you meant? John, 200 pounds. I'm hoping he lays people out this season. Tasha, I'm pretty excited for Big Mike. Like no matter how the present goes, at least we know goaltending is shored up for the future. It seems that way. It certainly seems that way. I do think he is the next franchise goalie for the Devils. I think Malik is in the mix as well. Devils 25. What do you think about Marc-Andre Fleury coming back at 40 years old to the Pens? Well, this is kind of like a publicity marketing thing, but he's playing parts of a preseason game, and I think it's super cool. I wish the Devils could have done something like that with did that with Marty. That would have been awesome. But the ticket prices shot up like crazy for a preseason game. I think they're hovering around $300 because everyone, all Penguins fans want to see the last a proper goodbye to the Flower. What a legend. NHL legend, Penguins legend. I'm just trying to stay positive. Traveling says, I need you around during the regular season game chat. Oh, you don't run into SST or Woodson. Bobby will not get along with them at all. I think he's been in here with them at the same time. Another season of smack talking. If only Jack would weigh 200. That'd be nice. Monday. I believe he will get bigger if he has a summer where he's not injured. I don't believe that. So people are saying if Jack weighed 200 pounds, he probably wouldn't be as fast as a skater. I'm not buying it. Go look at my man Nate Dogg. Look at Nathan McKinnon. It's not like we're talking about Jack weighing 260. Like 200 pounds is pretty standard across the league. I don't think it would slow him down at all. Jungle Static, we have Mercer first, an exciting prospect in Casey, plus other picks and prospects with some creativity. No way we can't land a stud top 6 left winger in a 3C. Come on, Fitz, channel your inner Vegas. Oh man, if only he could operate. If only he could operate the way some of those teams do. Win now, trading all the first rounders, trading everything. Like we want to win now, and we are going to push the chips in and try to win now. And that's what winning teams do. Hopefully one day we get there. I mean, and the window really is right now, in my opinion. With the core we have, their ages, with some of the pieces like you just mentioned, Jungle Static, it's the time to just kind of ship them out and try to bring in some guys that are going to push us to the finish line. Traveling, how scared is everyone of Jack taking the first hit? I'm not that frightened. It's the kind of off balance with speed moves where you go crashing into the boards or something like that, where gets a little nerve-wracking. A little bit. How's my team doing here? Oh, we're in the driver's seat now. We're in the driver's seat now. John Fay said, Woodson can be positive sometimes while SST nothing gets hit but SST. Oh man. Sometimes people earn a reputation. I mean, it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Gonna go see my mother, watch some football maybe. But exciting stuff. Camp in a couple days. A week from today, hosting the Rangers at the Rock in preseason action. This is an exciting time of the year. It all starts happening. It all starts coming together. But I'll be back soon. I'll have probably several videos coming out this week about a bunch of different things. And we roll on. We roll on as we get closer and closer to preseason and then obviously regular season. But if you were here today, you were hardcore. Talking about a prospects challenge on an NFL Sunday. I appreciate all of you. Like I said, I'll be back soon. Bunch of things in the works, videos about the team going into the season and some things I'm hoping to see and blah, blah, blah. And that's it, guys. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go